All right, so I've come out today to do some hot tenting, it's called. This is where I'm going to be putting up a tent. I'm going to have a stove going on in the tent, so a fire inside my tent, getting it nice and warm. And you can see that, you know, it appears to be quite a cold day today. Not much point in doing this if it's going to be warm, obviously. So let's just see how it goes. If this is something you'd like to see, let's just stick around. Okay, so I've found the place I'm going to set up for this afternoon. I've got two options. One, put the tent up straight away, or two, get firewood because it's not raining. Maybe I can get some dry wood before the weather closes in if I've got time. I am going to put the tent up first. See you in a minute. Okay, so my tent is now up. It's a really basic tent. Okay, a couple of things to just mention as I move a hand around. There is the hole where the chimney is going to go through. Okay, now look, these are sold as a hot tent, you know what I mean, especially for hot tenting. But in reality, you could get any tent. You could just cut a hole there, okay, for your chimney, and then there's a little piece of kit we're going to put there in a minute to stop the tent from melting. So any tent would do. Okay, all right, so to go over the hole in the tent, we can get one of these. You cut a hole out of it that's the size of your chimney, and I'm just going to turn the camera around now so you can see what happens. Okay, so what happens is this is going to go in there. Okay, I've just got to do some fiddling with it, but that's going to go in there. It fills a hole. Okay, so there's my finished product, and of course I've got a bit of a gap there. I can fiddle about with this if I wanted to, or I could perhaps in time buy a larger one which actually fills the whole gap. You know, I'll think about that, because you do need some ventilation somewhere in the tent, but that'll do for today. Okay, so now I'm going to start the unpacking of the stove. Okay, comes in a nice flat pack. I'm going to use this little bit to kneel on. Okay. Now the actual stove, which I'm going to put together a little bit later, consists of some little bits. Come back to those in a minute. There's a few bits and pieces, but the main piece I want to look at the moment is to show you the chimney. We're going to do the chimney first. Okay, so this is the chimney. Okay. It's a long piece of titanium foil and it rolls up like this, so I'm going to show you how this works. But safety first, it's quite sharp, we need a pair of gloves on. Cut. Okay, so gloves are going on. I will probably speed this bit up later on so as we're not wasting time, but you get some little rings to help you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rings and one little collar. Okay, so it's all cling film together because this thing is pretty much spring loaded. So this is how it is. So the first thing to do is to take some of the tension off it. Now, what I've done previously is I've turned it over and rolled it the other way so as to get rid of any tension, but this seems to be, coming out of the packet, fairly tensionless. So I'm just going to go ahead from here. Okay. What I've done is I've spread it out. and I'm going to, eventually it's going to be a long roll, but I'm going to start from here. I'm going to start rolling at an angle across there like this, nice and tight. I don't want to get any kinks in it, so this first bit's quite important. Rolling, rolling, and it's fighting me all the way. It doesn't want to do this. It's fighting me. Noisy. Now I'm going to start to put the rings on. Okay. I'm going to put them all on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the collar that goes on the end. Okay. Now I'm just going to let it go a little bit and let the springs, let the rings do their job. Okay. Now I'm just going to continue rolling it and move the rings up and down to stop it from unravelling. So I've got it to there. So you just keep on going until eventually, after a lot of bit of struggling, it's just about to become, it's just about to get the finished article now. Okay, where it's, see the seam comes down here. Pretty much, and the ends are flat. Okay. Almost, there we are, the end's flat, so make sure my ring's there at the end. I'll move this ring up a bit, like there, like that. This ring, slide up to there, get everything nice and even. That can go down to the end a little bit. There we are, there we are. They're all fairly even. 1 times chimney. Look at that. Brilliant. Cut. Okay, then the next thing to do is to add on the end piece. Okay, you can either slide it inside the tube, or I've got mine on the outside of the tube. Comes with, I've added guy ropes on already. Okay. We put this up first, then we'll do the, well, we'll put this up 90% first, then we'll get the stove sorted. So I'm just going to adjust the camera. When you pass it through the hole, it's not one to go, it won't want to go vertical, so you're going to have to make it go vertical. Take it all the way to the floor, stand it up. It'll obviously want to slant, so what I've done is, because the tent is sloping, you have to do a bit of a wiggle, get the pipe vertical, and now we're going to put the guy ropes out provisionally. Okay, so I've got the pipe up there, and I've got the guy ropes out, not tight, because we've got to now put the stove in place. Okay, so now we're going to look at actually putting the stove together from scratch. So it comes as a little bag. We're going to put that to one side. Little bag with 2 screws. Okay, keeping your gloves on because it's all quite sharp. So we have the base. Okay, got a little door. Just going to make sure the door's shut. So there's the base. Okay, so the 2 side elements go on. Okay, and clicks in at the bottom. Okay, and the top go, making sure that the chimney bit goes away from the door. That just sits on the top like that. Make sure it's all on, it's all tucked in. Okay, and then these two little screws, if I can get them out. Okay, so one goes in that end. And one goes in there. And what this is the chimney where you can adjust how much smoke is coming out. That would eventually sit in there with a chimney on top, but we'll come to that in a moment. Okay, it's got legs on the bottom, so you just, dead simple, come on, you just open them out like that, and then I'm now going to place this, come back to me in a minute. Okay, so I've got the finished article now, get a bit nearer, so we can see there's the cooker in the tent, or the stove in the tent, the pole, all the guy ropes. The guy ropes are all hanging out, it's nice and tense. Okay, I've got the pole vertical, okay, and it's coming through the hole there. Next thing to do is to get it going. Alright, now some people, when they do these videos, they bring their own wood. That's cheating. Okay, so if I just turn the video, it's pointing the other way, okay, we can see there's wood lying around, stuff like this. I've got my own batoning stick where I've been batoning. There's a piece I've been batoning. Okay, batoning, you can see it. This is the stick I've been using to do the batoning. You can see it's all damaged and everything. Okay, and my little pile of wood that I've been preparing. Okay, and to get the fire going, you know, the whole place is covered in lying in dead wood on the floor. So this what's lying on the floor here, which I've gone and rescued. Yeah, you know, you can see it's got frost on it still. It's got frost, but if I crack it, listen to this. Okay, so that is going to be what I'm using to get my fire going. We shall see. Okay, so it's burning quite nicely. Possibly can't see what's happening at the top up there, but into here, there we are. Seems to be burning quite well. Okay, so I've been feeding it fuel, and I've got a pot on the top so I can have a brew. Let's just have a look, see if this thing actually works or not. There we are, a boil. That's good. I'm happy with that. So of course, you know, I could brew coffee or me tea. Okay, so here's my little setup from the outside. I've got steam coming off from the top, hopefully possibly can see that. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so there's another setup. I do need to get a bigger one of those. It doesn't really fit very well. Okay, that doesn't fit very well, but when we go inside, let's see what it looks like when we go inside. Excuse the mess. Okay, so there's the cooker, burning away quite nicely. Let's dive in. Zip it up. Yeah. It is definitely warmer in here than it is out there. Okay. Well, there's plenty of room for all your stuff.